If you've clicked on this video, most probably you're a beginner in speedcubing who just got to figure out the concept of using lubes in speedcubes. And you might also have had a thought that why can't I use Vaseline petroleum jelly or moisturizer or other kinds of ointments which aren't necessarily made for speedcubes, but they can still help it being smooth or something else. So that is what we are going to figure out, and we are also going to see how can you use your lubricants in a good combination in your puzzle that can give you the best results for yourselves. So let's get started. In speedcubes, we use lubricants firstly to smoothen out the surface of the puzzles, and secondly to influence the feel and the speed of the puzzle. In speedcubing, we categorize lubricants as their viscosity. So there are a total 5 kinds of viscosity, weight 1 to weight 5. But the viscosity can get the hell out of here if the silicon is involved. If there is a weight 5, which is based on silicon like the Cuboss weight 5, it will obviously be a slow lubricant. But if the weight 5 is based on water, it can be way faster than that. So the chemical composition generally overtakes the weight if the silicon is not present in abundance in the slow lube. So if we take an example of Cuboss Rapid, it's a Speedcube lube which is categorized as fast, but the weight itself is weight 4. But the reason is this doesn't contain any silicon at all, and that makes sure that the lubricant is water-based rather than silicon-based, and you can use this as a fast lube. Same as Cuboss Boost, which is another fast lubricant, but is a weight 3 lube. But it's still a fast lube because of no presence of silicon at all. Puzzle companies like Moyu, QiYi, and GAN themselves do in fact manufacture cube lubricants, but they're not as good as cube stores because they do not excel in it. They excel in making puzzles, but the cube stores like Cuboss sell lubricants in different kinds of viscosity, different kinds of feel, gumminess, and other kinds of feels, which you won't necessarily get in puzzle companies themselves. If you want to purchase any kinds of these lubes or puzzles, you can purchase it from the best cube store of Europe, Cuboss.com. And if you click the link in the description, you're going to get 5% off on your order. So now we know the basics of the puzzle lubricants themselves. Now let's see what kinds of lubes you can use in your own setup and how are you actually going to apply them to the puzzle. Now if we start with Cuboss Rapid, which is a fast lubricant in itself, it's a weight 4 lube, but as I told you, the presence of silicon can influence the weight itself. So you're just going to loosen the cube a bit before actually opening it with the help of a screwdriver or the adjustment tools in the tornado. And then you're going to open the bottle and you're going to find the tracks of the puzzle itself. So you see the tracks in between. You're just going to drop one drop and consider breaking in with 2 or 3 solves, and then you have a fast puzzle. Now, if we talk about the lubrication of the spring or the core, you should not lube any puzzle like Tornado, in which the spring is in a closed compartment and doesn't resist much, or is a maglev cube which doesn't contain a spring at all, because that will just eliminate the need to lube the core, which is to eliminate the spring noise. And if there's no spring, there's going to be no spring noise. So we're going to lube the RS3 in 2020. I use this to memorize blindfolded, so just consider ignoring the letters on it. I will recommend to use a tissue, and then you are going to open the packet of the lubricant itself. This is Cuboss weight 5. Then you're going to put the puzzle here. You're going to get the green dispenser piece from it. Do not use the black one because that's just a random blocker. So you're going to open this black piece anti-clockwise. And then, as fast as you can, you're going to put this green dispenser on it. And you're all good to go. Now you see there is a gap between the screw and the adjustment tool. So you're going to get the lube, and with a very gentle hand in between the gap, you're going to drop 1 drop of lube. Like this. You might not have seen it, but the lube got delivered into the spring itself. And then you're going to repeat the process for every single center. Now if you want, you can also apply a thin layering of the weight 5 syringe in the tracks of the puzzle after you have broken down the rapid or any other kind of fast lubricant that you applied. They should be good enough to keep your puzzle lubricated for a month or two, and you can also experiment with lubricants yourself, such as weight 3 or weight 4 or other kinds of feel texture lubricants, which might give you another feel or feel that you want yourself, but that's really just your choice. But you can just use Cuboss Rapid, and then the way I told you, the Cuboss weight 5, and that's going to be it for you for a month or two, and then you can disassemble your puzzle, clean it a bit. If there's any magnet corrections, you can do that, and then you can re-lubricate it and repeat the cycle every 2 months or so. Now that we know everything about puzzle lubricants, let me tell you why you should not use Vaseline petroleum jelly or moisturizers or other ointments in puzzles that are not necessarily made for them, but they can still smoothen them for some time. Now, I'm not a chemist, and in fact I've quit chemistry very early in my life, so I do not know much about the chemical compositions themselves, but as far as I know from the internet, the Vaseline can actually eat the plastic. You can go search the chemical compositions yourself, but that's what I know from the internet. And if you use any other kinds of ointments which are not necessarily made for speed cubes, you can use them. They can smoothen the surface for some time, but you can't actually influence the speed and the feel of the puzzle itself, which was the main reason of making cube lubricants. And if I talk about other kinds of ointments, you can use to smoothen the surfaces, but you do not have the power to influence the feel and the speed of the puzzle itself, because we don't know the viscosity of the things that we didn't make. We know the viscosity of the Cuboss weight 5 because the companies made it, but we do not know the viscosity of a random eye drop that you purchase from a dollar store or any other kind of store. Please use normal speed cubing lubricants because you might be damaging your puzzle's plastic itself. They're quite cheap, 5% off as I told you. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you got some value from it, consider liking the video, and if you want more kinds of videos like these, consider subscribing. Share this with people who might be using Vaseline in their cubes, and you can check out one of my other videos here. Until then, keep cubing.